Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Point. Well, I said afternoon and tonight as well because the days are slowly and gradually getting longer and longer. In our studios today we have a very distinguished person, Dr. Firoz M. Kamal. He is a consultant physician as well as a writer, a thinker and author of many books. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me in this show.
Thank you for coming along. Thank you for giving us the time.
My salam to all your watchers.
Today is the 22nd of Shawwal. Only about 3 weeks ago, we celebrated Eid. Eid comes, as we all know, after 29 or 30 days of fasting, which is the month of Ramadan. Now, these 4 weeks of fasting, medically, socially, religiously, and psychologically, how does it impact us? When Ramadan is over, people get involved into their daily course of life. Everybody forgets the guest that was here for 30 days. People celebrate Eid and then they look for the month of Hajj, Al-haj. But today we want to talk about the impact of Ramadan fasting that it has on our character, on our habits, on our society. And none other than Dr. Firoz Kamal could have been the person to talk about it, because he's a medical person as well as a social and a writer of many books on Islamic affairs.
Thank you very much for having
what are the visible and significant changes in our characters and conduct that Ramadan can help bring? I say can because all of us are different and we react differently to different things.
Firstly, I should say why Ramadan was made obligatory on Muslim men and women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a specific objective on that. Actually, and it has been revealed in Holy Quran. It is only to increase the taqwa. Taqwa, that means God-fearingness. That is the most important part of Ramadan. That is spiritual development of humans. But it has other benefits, like health benefits, the spiritual benefit, all these things. So most important is the spiritual build-up of the Muslims. Actually, not only Ramadan, every obligatory prayers like ibadah has a specific purpose. What is the purpose? If we think a little bit deeply, then we understand why these prayers, that means salah, fasting, hajj, zakat, are made obligatory on the Muslims. What is the purpose? If we know the purpose, then we can see the impact of that. What is the main purpose? Actually, the main purpose of human creation is that people should do substitute only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for ibadah, only for ibadah. What is ibadah? I define ibadah is this way. Ibadah is the complete alignment with the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is ibadah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever wants from us, we had to abide by that. You see, we had to be very much aligned with that agenda. What is the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Actually, that is the big problem. With the Muslims, we keep on fasting, we do salah, we go for hajj, and we give zakat. But one main important thing we are missing in our life, that we are not aligned with the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the big problem. We keep fasting, whole month people are doing fasting, and we do salah every 5 times, and we go hajj, we do umrah, we give zakat. But the most important thing we are missing in our life, that we are not fully aligned with the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even we do not know what is the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is this, that we only should pray, keep fasting, do hajj, give zakat, and do some durood and tasbih and all these things. No, this is not the main objective of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prayer should not end in prayers. Fasting should not end in fasting only. Hajj should not end only. These are not the end. These are not the prime objective. As I told you, all this ibadah only to build up our taqwa.
Right.
It's a refuel and
Taqwa, as you defined, is the fear of Allah.
Yeah, fear of Allah means, that taqwa means, It is the fear of non-alignment with the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a non-servitude. It's a betrayal of agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The purpose of creation, betrayal of the purpose of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the question we should know, we should answer the question, what is the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why we have been created here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a clear-cut agenda, and it has been revealed in Quran so many times. I shall recite some verses, so that you can understand what the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So look in Surah Saf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَالَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned here that Allah is that who has sent down the Prophet with the messages, that the Holy Quran, so that each should overwhelm over all the faith, all the religion, all the thoughts, all the code of life. It should prevail over all these things. And all, see, this is the main agenda, that each Quran should prevail. The message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should prevail. That is the main purpose.
Now, what is the sense in prevailing about?
Prevail means the code of life. Our not only our ibadah, our spiritual life, even our social life, family life, economic life, cultural life, political life, all this should follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right.
No, that is full, as I told you, full alignment with the teachings, with the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran is a book of guidance. Quran gives us the roadmap. So we should, the fear of derailment from the roadmap is called Taqwa. I am always, so suppose I am driving in a motorway, I have always, every second I am conscious that if I get to sleep or unmindful, then I will make a disaster, accident. That is the fear, Taqwa of a driver.
Right.
And the Taqwa of a believer is that he always very fearful. Am I following the roadmap of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I aligned with the full agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That fear is called Taqwa.
Yes, I think it's a very good example you have given is driving. So you will be driving according to the highway code.
Yeah.
You know that this is the speed limit, is 20 miles. You can't go beyond that. See, like these days in the cities, see, 20 miles. See, if you do 21, you are liable to be fined. And how does this concept of fine we adjust ourselves in Islam?
Yes, and actually, as I told you, Islam is a full, complete code of life. It is a book of guidance. It is a book of, it is a roadmap. It shows roadmap is how to run your politics, how to run your education, how to run your culture, how to run your education. All these guidance are there. Suppose you are a political leader, you are head of the state, you are a minister. How you should run your ministry? You should, Quran gives the guidance. Suppose you are a judge, how to give the judgment? Quran gives a clear guidance. It is Sharia, law, law of courts. So every area is covered with the courts. So you should follow that. If you are not following that, that means you have no taqwa. You are not aligned with the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are not aligned. You are totally derailed. So that is the problem with the Muslims. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, guides us, orders us, that وَتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. O Muslim, catch hold the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Can we say that taqwa is not really God-fearing, but awareness of God is there and that we have to follow His prescribed rules?
That's true, that's true, that's true. Actually, yeah, that's why, as I told you, that is the thing, that we should, it is a fairness that I am accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
That I am always, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always, I am under the watch of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am on the radar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always He is watching me. It is an exam hall. I am sitting in an exam hall. Every second under, every action, every deed, every behavior under scrutiny. I am being checked. What I am doing? Suppose, as I told you, that if you are a judge, suppose I am a judge, I say, I have to give a judgment, then I should be very careful, very meticulous. That am I following the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If I violate the rule, then I have no taqwa. Suppose I am a political leader. But I have been the sovereign. Oh, whatever I say, that is the rule. You are following I am following the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sovereign is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am only Khalifa, Viceroy. I am only his delegate. That is so I can only follow his rules, dictated rules. I cannot be a sovereign. If I start giving the rules, then I have no taqwa.
Yeah, but in some administrative jobs, like suppose somebody is a judge in a court of law in a country that is predominantly not Muslim. So how does he conduct this? He won't be able to do his work according to the rules prescribed in the Holy Quran, but he will have to obey the rules that are prevalent in that country, the law of that country. See, so how does he go about that?
Now, it's a very difficult question, difficult to answer actually. As a Muslim, every Muslim is a Khalifa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is necessary that we should follow the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a non-Muslim country, it cannot be done. Because the people do not, if you try to do that, people will not obey you. You will face rebellion against you. So it will not feasible. For this why it is better Muslim to migrate to a Muslim country. Because you cannot fully comply with the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a kuffar country, a non-believers country cannot do that. So that is why the migration, hijrat, is a very important pillar of Islam. That if you can migrate and live in a Muslim country, it is preferable to go there. Don't stay in a country where there is no rule of Sharia. You see, that's the thing. And if we stay there, then that is the obligation. Suppose in this country, we cannot migrate to our own country. We are compelled by situation to stay here. Then we have to obey the rule of this country.
Yeah, but in the earlier days, see, the migration was with the purpose of also propagation of Islam.
Exactly.
The dawah.
Yeah, that's true. That's the important point. As long as we are here in this country, at least we can do dawah. Only that can compensate our obligation. Actually, since I can, at least at the end, we can tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we try our best to Islamize the society, we give dawah. Then only it will be excused. Otherwise, if we just comply with the kuffar law and do nothing and stay silent, then of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will catch us.
Well, the impact takes time and people, you can't convert people or you can't convert them to your own ideas. I'm not talking about religion, but the concepts that we have. People don't get converted to that in one day. If it is good, people accept it. Like driving safely.
Yeah, exactly.
See, everybody accepts that to drive safely is to protect yourself, to travel as well.
No. Yeah, but if in the non-Muslim country, we can do very useful work. Very useful work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will probably can be acceptable. Our job, our stay can be acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if we try to propagate the message of Islam.
True.
In fact, early days, what happened in Indonesia, traders went there and whole country became Muslim. Population became Muslim. About 95%, 98% become Muslim. If we can do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be very pleased with us. But if we enjoy the comfort of this life and do nothing, then of course, that will be a problem.
That is where this taqwa comes.
Exactly. We should try every time. We should pray. Actually, one thing I want to mention one thing. Ramadan prayer, all these things has another specific purpose. Suppose when you drive a car, we need to put fuel.
True.
You see, at any time fuel may be exhausted. See, the same way our iman needs fuel. It needs recharging, and then this 5 times salah is type of recharging. We always go labbaik to call of azan. We say, oh, I am here. So this is the refueling. We go to salah, and this Ramadan is a big ibadah, full month. So it is recharging our iman. It gives a it changes it creates a new environment. Spiritual environment, the whole month in Muslim country. Even in this country, you see taraweeh, prayer, recitation, listening to the recitation.
It's different. The life pattern becomes so different.
Yeah. So it is Ramadan, it's a spiritual environment. So it creates a big impact on our life, our cultural life. Actually, Islam brings a cultural revolution. It is not only ideological revolution. It brings a cultural revolution. What is cultural revolution? What is culture? Culture is a process of purifying people. In Arabic, culture means called tahzib. Tahzib means hazzaba in Arabic, that means purify. The process of purification.
Making people muhaddab.
Muhazzab, exactly. The muhazzab means a process of purification. And the process that purifies, that is the element, that is a component of culture. Suppose our education is a component, is an essential element of culture. Our practices like zikr is a part of culture. The Ramadan is also a culture, you can say. It has a cultural impact. As I told you, in the month of Ramadan, people are, making iftar party, giving food, inviting people, and giving sadaqah, giving zakat, giving iftar, fitra. You see, in this way, Islam differs from the other religion. I have been in India. You see, in Jaipur, I stayed there for about 6 months. I went to see Jaipur city Diwali. I saw the whole city. You see a lot of lightning. You see a lot of decoration. I think millions and millions of Indian rupees were spent for decoration. All the city looks very glamorous. I thought, oh, so much money has been spent. But this in India, and you know that 800 million people in India live on ration.
Yeah.
800 million people live on ration. So these people are so poor. You see, in Bombay, I am feeling very good. Once I was in Bombay, I was visiting a park. A beggar came to ask for money. In my pocket, I didn't have any note, 5 rupees or 10 rupees or 1 rupee. I had only 25 paisa. I thought, I was feeling shame. How can I give this money? I have nothing to pay. I gave them 25p. And he was so pleased, the gentleman, the beggar. I thought, oh, these people are so needy. Even 25p has so value. But look at in Bangladesh even. In Pakistan even. Every Ramadan, at least several thousand crore rupees get transferred from rich people's pocket to poor people's pocket. So in Bangladesh, last November I was in Bangladesh. I couldn't see any beggar in my village. Can you imagine? Because people are now
because they have gone abroad.
Not abroad. People have now, the poor people are supported. We have a network. You see, we have a network, you see the social network, you see, except as Islam, the people are now getting little wealthy. So giving, as I told you, millions of taka as charity.
Right.
So this Ramadan is a great blessing for that. People are giving clothes, money, you see, everything, foods, everything. So that Ramadan brings a significant change in our habits. This is a big impact.
It's a month of barakah and rahmah.
Barakah, rahmah, yes, of course.
Says Ramadan profoundly impacts a Muslim's life by offering a time for an increased spiritual devotion,
yes,
self-discipline, and community engagement.
Yeah.
A period of intense focus to strengthen one's relationship. I mean, if we think of Ramadan as a month of training, intensive trainings, like then we change the scene and think of the armed forces. See, in the peacetime, they have a different routine, completely different regimes. They get up in the morning, they do exercises, physical as well as using guns and whatever they have. They do those things, you see, and they're kept busy all the time with the focus only that they have to fight the enemy. You see this, and Ramadan, to fight the enemy is shaitan, the bad ideas that takes you away from the correct path, the right path. And that's what is called Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Exactly.
In all our prayers, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we invoke His blessings and we say, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Exactly.
And then Sirat al-Lazina an'amta alayhim. And not of those with whom you were not pleased. Ghayr al-Maghdubi alayhim. And they were, you bestowed not rahmah, but ghadab. Ghayr al-Maghdubi alayhim. So this is Ramadan's blessings that we all sort of, it brings us together. We, instead of everybody praying in his home, we go for Taraweeh. See, we may not be able to go for Maghrib because we are praying with our own families. But a lot of people go to Maghrib for iftar, the masjid. See. And that brings people together. See.
Exactly.
They're sharing the food together. See. You must have seen in Makkah and Medina, mashallah, they have thousands and thousands of these iftar tables, you see.
Like even I saw in Moscow,
Yeah.
see, thousands of people are eating together in mosque. The greatest mosque in Europe is in Moscow. You see, I was astonished. In Moscow, it's a non-Muslim country, only 15% are Muslim, but such a huge change in Ramadan. Another thing I want to mention you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you rightly mentioned, it is training. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is training. Why training? As I told you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has an aim, an objective, has an agenda. And to fulfill the agenda, he needs an army of people. You see, an army needs training. Army needs training. Even look at Salah. You see, 5 times coming, you are falling in line. And shoulder to shoulder, no gap. And people of different color, different language, different ethnicity are standing together. So what is standing? This is a training that in Salah, in Masjid, you are standing, you have no discrimination, no racial discrimination, ethnic discrimination, linguistic or any discrimination. You are all standing together. You should do the same thing in your political life. So you cannot raise nationalism, racism, or tribalism in your politics. No, it is haram. This is the teaching of namaz, salah, that you should all shoulder to shoulder. You see, this is the teaching. You are army of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no discrimination. Discrimination is haram in Islam. See, another thing is in Ramadan, those are rich people, they do not experience what is hunger is.
True.
Thirst is. No, they do not. So it is made obligatory. No, you stay hungry. Even in this country, when in summer it will be 18, 19 hours fasting, they will experience what is hunger is. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants that to understand how the poor people, those who are in starvation, how they experience their hunger. So that is the thing, another part. Another thing, see, something halal are also made haram. Suppose you see that sexual relationship, all these things are made haram. You see, even all these things.
During the hours of
actually, you see, suppose I give another example. When you drive a car, you should not only know how to steer, how to put pressure on accelerator. You should know how to brake.
True.
How to brake. If you do not know your brake doesn't work, then you are in danger. You will make it. So Ramadan teaches the brake, how to use the brake. You see, in your sexual relations, your eating and drinking, your backbiting, all these things. So all this put
on the same, this impact on our health, which is very important and important to understand, as well as to keep it as a guideline for the next Ramadan, inshallah. The spiritual purification, gratitude and sympathy, these are the benefits of Ramadan fasting. Physical health, well-being, physiological health, well-being, weight loss, improved metabolism, better blood sugar control, boosted immune system, improved sleep, and reduced blood pressure. A tall order and great impact on our lives only because you are missing the food. And yet it is so important for our health. While eating is important, going without food is also important. Having breaks is also important. So what are the main medical factors that impact us during Ramadan, and how, suppose somebody is not well, he cannot fast, but he wants to fast. So what would be the best course for him?
Yes, we shall discuss on that. Actually, firstly, I should say what's the benefits of health benefits of Ramadan.
True.
Actually, it has been proven by research. Even in this country, about 20 to 30% people have fatty liver. Fatty liver. Why? The fat deposit in the liver. So that is called fatty liver. accumulation of fat. So this we eat, but some portion of our diet are not utilized. So the liver is the storage house of the body. So it goes stored in the liver. Is the energy storage in the body, and if some energy unused, then get reserved in the body, and that liver reserved as fat, and that damaged liver. That damaged liver can lead to a lot of problems, liver failure. Then the same thing happens as cardiovascular diseases. You see, fat may deposit on the blood channels.
Right, yes.
You see, then that if it happens in the heart blood channels, then it causes heart problems, heart stroke, brain stroke, there are all of things, peripheral neuropathies, all these things happen. So actually eating is essential for life, but eating should be controlled eating, not overeating, not undereating. So Islam tells about that. Prophet ﷺ told that if you eat, at least 1/3 of your stomach should be empty, kept empty, not fully. Don't eat fully. You see, that is the thing. That is, you should be your food, your feet should be measured, not unlimited. And Ramadan actually trained us that fasting is not going to harm you.
Right.
When some people say, "Oh, if I stay starving, then it will harm my body." No, that it benefits. Actually, my more personal benefit, I tell you, in Ramadan, every Ramadan, I lose about 4 to 5 kilograms. All this rubbish get accumulated in my body. You see, in muscles and fatty, all these things get cleared up. So I eat after Ramadan, I feel light-footed. I feel much better. The same thing I think happened to everybody. So this is the one best.
One great benefit. Yes.
Great benefit actually. It doesn't need any medication. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants Muslim to be physically fit, because we have to fight social life. Then as I told you that in those who are medically sick, those who are diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, they need insulins and all the same. For them that is a problem, because it needs controlled feeding all over 24 hours. So if they stay hunger, then what happens, the blood sugar level can go down, then get hypoglycemia, that patient may collapse. For them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has Islam made easy, for them easy. Okay, so suppose they can give us sadaqah, kafara, all of these things. They can do those things for that.
But a lot of people use this even ordinary illness as an excuse for not fasting. I mean, how serious one has to be sick to be not fasting?
No, actually that should be discussed with the doctor. A person should not decide on her own, because a doctor can know that whether this gentleman can fast or not. You see, suppose a blood pressure, no problem, you can fast. No problem. You have joint pains and other things, no problem, you can fast. You see, but as I told you, those with heart problem, no problem, you can fast. Heart doesn't have any problem. Only the problem you see, those having diabetes. That is a major issue, in fact. The uncontrolled diabetes, dependent on insulin, for them, fasting becomes relatively difficult. But those are diabetes, different type of diabetes. One is called type 2 diabetes. So one is type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is insulin dependent. And type 2 diabetes, mostly it is doesn't require insulin, but at some advanced stage, they may also need insulin. For them, it is problematic. So doctor, and what level they are, the doctor should decide on that. But they should not decide on them. That should not be made an excuse. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take a different view.
What is this concept of intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting means, that is lawful fasting. In this obligatory fasting, like month of Ramadan, there is no intermittent. It is whole month, 29 days or 30 days, whole month. If anybody miss one, then he has to fast 60 days. Right. Continuous fasting. It is a rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no intermittent fasting in Ramadan. So those who can fast, they should fast continuously. Of course, the intermittent fasting, it is lawful fasting. In any month they can do that.
No, but I see that people sometimes they say, I will eat today I ate today at 10 a.m. and again I'm going to eat tomorrow at 10 a.m. Are there real benefits of?
Oh, that is not a Ramadan fasting.
No, not Ramadan fasting. No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Actually, different. Best way fast in that way that today, 10 a.m. today and 10 a.m. this is not good thing.
That's not good.
Not good. Actually, best way you eat small amount, more frequent amount.
Right.
More frequently.
Right.
Not like one time you eat a full meal, another time you stay hungry. No, it is not good for health. Suppose you take a good size, good breakfast, good lunch, good dinner. You see, so that way you can divide your food over 24 hours into 3 times. Better to make 3 times: lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But as a matter of fact, in Ramadan, we are taking enough food, isn't it? See, we take futur, the iftari, the dinner, and then we have the sahur. See, so that becomes 3 meals that normally you will have in 24 hours.
It depends person to person. My family, we usually do twice. Iftar times we take the dinner as well, same time.
Okay.
So you do not eat any second time, and then suhoor. So only twice.
Only twice.
Not thrice. Yes. You see, we take enough iftari that doesn't need any food at dinner time.
Yes.
So I think that is the best way. We are doing almost for a long time, and no problem at all.
You know, some people would go for dinner after the Tarawih. So they think that by that time the iftar has gone through the system, so they are ready for another meal.
I don't know how do that, because you see the night is shorter.
Yes.
Then you see after iftari you will go to sleep and then again get up. So what is the time? It is better, I think, my personal view is this: better to do what would you like to eat after the iftari. You see, because appetite doesn't return again after the Isha.
Right.
You see, if iftari time, you can make a good iftari, and doesn't need any other. And that if you do this, and then the benefit of health benefit doesn't come in actually, because you are eating too much.
True.
That is the way. That is. In fact, I am getting health benefit because of this.
Yeah, but isn't that happening in many places? Because people overeat instead of they forget that.
Exactly. Now, many people they eat more in Ramadan time than the usual time.
Then they gain weight.
Yeah, exactly. Because they eat in iftar, they eat midnight, and then get a suhoor, and too much iftari, all these things. So take away the benefits, health benefits of Ramadan.
What other moral benefits you can think of that Ramadan
Now, Ramadan, actually, one thing
to our life?
Actually, one thing, the most important thing is that Ramadan month is honored because of revolution of Quran in this month.
Yes.
The Laylatul Qadr is in this month. Actually, Quran is directly linked to Ramadan, and Ramadan comes to link up us with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Actually, as Allah Subhanahu wa Taala mentioned, Quran is the rope of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Only through Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala talk to us. There is no other means. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, so many creations, varieties of creation. Only the Quran talk to us in the language of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. As I told you, that Quran is the personal letter to everybody. Allah wants to talk to His vast creation.
It is like the conversation. It's a one-to-one, isn't it?
One-to-one conversation.
Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr.
Yeah.
Wama adraka ma laylatul qadr.
And you know that this is the Quran. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Do you know what's the best part of Salah? Qiyam. People say sujood. Yep. So they tell this is the best way that we make dua. But you see, best time is the Qiyam. If you long Qiyam, the weight of Salah gets bigger, more weighty. It becomes more weighty because it's long conversation with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. In this period, you are thinking what you decide. If we understand what we are reciting, it gives a tremendous benefit of Salah. What are you telling? Allah Subhanahu wa Taala talk to us. This is the fear of akhirah, judgment, benefits. All this comes together. So this is our taqwa. You see, when Salah was not obligatory, 5 times Salah was not obligatory. What was the prayer of the companions? What was the prayer? Prayer was nothing but reciting Salah in the midnight. Surah Muzammil. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala telling, "Oh Prophet, stand up,
get up, yeah.
Get up, and spend was 2/3, 1/3, or half of the night and go on reciting. So can you imagine? This is the benefit of recitation. When you recite Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's letter, then we remember what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to talk to me. And then we think that do the ponder on it, think tadabbur, tawakkul, tafahum, all this come together. Then that purifies our heart. Suppose if you read one poetry of Rabindranath Tagore, every night, what will happen? Every word will sink in your heart. The same way, if you read the Quran every night and you understand everything, then that will sink into your heart.
Right.
And that will guide you. That is the benefit of spiritual benefit of Ramadan. We go to Taraweeh. Unfortunately, we people go to Taraweeh, we don't understand what is recited.
Right.
So we do not get full benefit of Taraweeh. But if you understand the meaning of Quran, then it would have given huge benefit. It could have bring behavioral revolution, cultural revolution. It could have brought, but it couldn't, because we don't understand the meaning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that La taqrabu salata antum suqara hatta ta'lamu wa ta'qilun. Don't come near to salah if you are intoxicated. In those days, you see, wine was not haram.
Yes.
So people used to drink and come to salah intoxicated and couldn't understand. But now, we do not drink, but still we don't understand. So I think it is more, ignorance is create more intoxication. We are under the intoxication of ignorance, jahiliyyah. And jahiliyyah is the most important thing. In Surah Furqan, very important verse I want to mention, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling, I think verse number 62 probably. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is فَلَا تُطِعُوا الْكَافِرِينَ وَجَاهِدُهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. At that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't follow the kuffar, but fight with this Quran. Zahidum bihi. Fight against them. Bihi means this Quran. Jihadan kabira. Means big jihad. That means Quran is a weapon of intellectual war. Prophet ﷺ did that war. Quran is the weapons of war, intellectual war. And if we do not understand that, our jahiliyat will not go. We have this war against our own ignorance. This is against the ignorance of our community, society, our people. And the weapons is Quran. If we do not understand Quran, no benefit.
Well, this is unfortunate, because in most Muslim countries, Quran is not a part of the curriculum.
Exactly. That is, however, Quran, this is the most obligatory part of education. It is not obligatory to learn physics, medicine, engineering. No, it is no harm in it. If I am a doctor. If I do not become a doctor, doesn't matter. But if I do not understand Quran, it is punishable crime, because I am violating an obligation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't make salah or fasting or hajj. Fasting that was made obligatory, that is seeking education. The man who is properly educated, they only get the benefit of salah, fasting, hajj, umrah, all these things. The man who doesn't have no understanding, as I told you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has an agenda. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants we should work to make success of the agenda. For that reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, Ya alladhina amanu kunu ansarullah. You see, in surah, whatever command comes, it becomes obligatory. So becoming ansar means helper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an obligation. If I do not become ansar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am violating his order. Then I am doing haram. I am in guna. You understand that? Yeah. So, you see, fasting was made obligatory only by one verse. That it came in Surah Baqarah. Shahru Ramadan, started Shahru Ramadan. This is the only verse that made Ramadan fasting obligatory. But for jihad came so many verses. Fight, and enjoin my agenda. You see, implement my agenda. You see, Islam should overwhelm all other faiths. But we are not doing that. We are not aligning with the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We the Muslims go to salah, doing hajj, but we are the soldier of secularism, nationalism, tribalism, racism, all these things. That means we are aligned with the kuffar, shaitan, not with Allah.
Well, the trouble is, as you have said before, see, because we don't understand the language, we don't understand what is written in the Quran. See, it is being taught. We are creating huffaz, people who remember it by heart. but they don't understand. They can't even read in such circumstances. I was in Saudi and I used to teach at the university, and some of my students, I would meet them in the corridor, and I will see that they are students of fourth year, fifth year medicine, see, graduation. They have a copy of the Holy Quran in their hand, and they're going to the class. A sheikh is sitting there, and once or twice I've gone in. What is the sheikh teaching you? You are students of medicine. And the sheikh would talk to me and say that, look, they have to understand Quran. I said, even at the fifth year level? Yes. So fifth year of medicine, they're reading Quran. First year of medicine, they're reading Quran, you see. The same book, one might say, oh, they have already read it, you see. They know how to read, they understand perhaps, but no, they have to read. It's part of the curriculum. Whether it's engineering, whether it's economics, whether it is political science, or whether it is architecture, now, they have to.
Now, that is the duty of the state. That is the duty of the state. The state's duty to make people educated on Quran. It is not to make them engineers. This is not an obligation. They do. This is good. Make some people must be doctors, some people should be engineers, lawyers, historians, all these things. But everyone should be a Muslim.
Yeah.
Some people can be engineers, but everyone should be a Muslim. And to be a Muslim, they should, without education, he cannot be full Muslim.
Well, Quran is the handbook.
Exactly. Handbook.
You have to understand.
Yeah.
Book of rules.
Book of procedures. Book of, if I join a job, first day I will be taught about a service procedure.
Yeah.
My job description. If I do not know my job description, I will be ousted from the job. The same thing, Muslim has a job description, what we should do, what we should not do. And Quran tells about that. And if we do not understand Quran, that means we will not be able to perform the duties. And we will not be able to align with the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's agenda. Then we will align with the shaitan's agenda. Do you know, in First World War, 1 million Arabs fought in the army of British? There was already a documentary. I was astonished. And 250,000 Indian Muslims fought in the British. You see, can you imagine? And they fought against the Khalifa. And Israel was created by that occupation. Can you imagine? So we are the creator of Israel. So how a Muslim can align with the agenda that is not Islamic? So because we didn't understand our obligation, and how do you understand? As I told you, Quran, you see, Quran says in Surah Anfal, if you read Surah Anfal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's agenda is very clear there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means, yuridullahu an yuhaqqal haqqa bi kalimati wa yaqta dabir al-kafirin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning here, yuridullahu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes. Yuhaqqal haqqa. Haqq should be established. And the Quranic truth should be established. And dabir al-kafirin. And those who are kuffar, their roots should be cut off. Can you imagine? And the next verse is coming, it is verse number 8. Yuhaqqal haqqa yuftal al-bata walau karihal mujrimun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yuhaqqal haqqa wa yuftal al-batila. Haqq should be established as haqq, and batil, those are you see,
yes.
Useless.
Somewhere else is
defunct. Yeah.
In al-batil kana zahuqa.
These are the agenda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a Muslim, we should be answer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for that, becoming answer, we need to understand Quran.
We are almost at the end of the program. So we understand, we have discussed about the various aspects of Ramadan and how it impacts our life as a Muslim, and how we should be looking at it, inshallah. Inshallah, come next year, inshallah. We hope we are all around and we'll be able to benefit more from. Ramadan profoundly impacts a Muslim's life by offering a time for increased spiritual devotion, self-discipline and community engagement, a period of intense focus to strengthen one's relationship. Now this relationship is the catchword. Relationship between the humans, between the family and with the Creator.
Exactly.
Because we are responsible to Him for our acts. We're not responsible to, I'm not responsible to my father, my brother, my sister, my daughter. for my acts that Allah wants. Your last comments.
No, actually, one thing, every ibadah is zikr. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If ibadah is long, the zikr is long. See, Salah is zikr, Ramadan is also zikr. Remember, this Ramadan is a day-long zikr. Always we are contrast. So its benefit is quite high. So it is the one longest ibadah, month-long ibadah, and every day is long ibadah. So it's beneficial. It's very, very beneficial. Its spiritual benefit is quite huge, and it binds us with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's agenda. And as I told you, Quran plays the biggest role because we prayer, and then community linkage is also good. I was very much pleased to see what is happening in Moscow, what's happening in New York and other cities. Non-Muslim are also joining iftar parties.
Right.
So that's the community link up is building up.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. It was a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you very much.
Again and again. Thank you, viewers, for being with us, and we hope that you've enjoyed the show as much as we have tried to produce. Hope to see you after a couple of weeks again. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice time.